Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So today we are on the concluding session of Gita Made Easy course, 18 sessions, 18 days. And so today we will be discussing the 18th chapter. And before we do that, let's look at a quick overview of the 17th chapter.
So a quick overview of the 17th chapter which we discussed yesterday. So we saw how this chapter had three portions. The first was about the principle, where Arjuna had a doubt and he asked Krishna, and Krishna gave him the principle as Arjuna asked that what about those who worship but not according to the scriptures? And Krishna replied in context to the mode of material nature and how they get affected about their various aspects of the lifestyle, and that becomes their natural instinct. So in second section, we discussed in detail about the food, charity, faith, sacrifice, speech, mind control, conduct, about people in different modes. And the third concluding section was Om Tat Sat, which signifies that Om signifies that we remember the Supreme Lord, and while doing the activities, we do it in a detached manner, and then after completing the activity, we actually offer it for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So that we discussed with Om Tat Sat, and we also discussed why is it so important, or the consciousness aspect, that why am I doing anything is very important. So why I do what I do. So there we ended the 17th section chapter.
So now we will look at a quick overview of the 18th chapter. Now, before we get into these section overviews and what these different sections talk about, it is very interesting to note that how Krishna is an expert presenter. As he is expert in everything, how is an expert presenter? So we see that he started speaking in the second chapter, and second chapter he summarized what all he is going to speak. Then as he started speaking in the 9th chapter and in the middle 6 chapters, he presented the most confidential knowledge. And then now, actually by 17th chapter, he completed speaking all the important instructions that he wanted to give. And now he is doing a second summary. So he summarized in the beginning, he said what he wanted to say, and now he is summarizing again. So, and this chapter is also very important, 18th chapter. Why? Because Krishna gives his Paramam Vachaha, or the supreme advice. So that we will see in the 4th section. So let's look at these sections. The first section is a summary of Karma and Jnana Yoga, because this is a summary of entire Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is picking up the key points what he has spoken earlier, and that's what he is mentioning here. And in the second section, Krishna is talking about again modes of nature, Prakriti, which we can see that how important it is, because this topic is coming again and again and again in various chapters. And then about ideal worker, that is from 41st verse to 55th verse, where we understand that how if one works according to his qualities, then one actually can very easily attain perfection. And then comes the sweetest part of this chapter, the love of Godhead, where Krishna says that how by becoming a devotee one attains perfection. And then the end result talks about the benefits of Bhagavad Gita, and one who understands and distributes this knowledge, what he gains from this. So that's also a very wonderful section of Bhagavad Gita. So we'll quickly move into the summary of Karma and Jnana Yoga. So in this particular section, there are 3 subsections, and now we can say, as usual, Arjuna starts with a doubt. So Arjuna asks a question. So it has almost become a frequently asked question. Arjuna is again and asking a similar question, that in this material world, if we do an action, of course we'll get a reaction. Whether we do good action or we do bad action, we'll get good reaction or bad reaction, and that's why it becomes so entangling, right? We become entangled in a web of action reaction. So naturally somebody would ask, who does not have knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, naturally somebody would ask, is in that case then I should stop acting, I should not act, because if there's no action, no reaction. So this is the question that Arjuna asks, and Krishna gives his final verdict in this matter. once and for all. He seals this matter like the Supreme Court judgment. He gives his final opinion. And then Krishna explains why. And then he explains that there are actually not one, but there are 5 different factors how we are able to accomplish any action. And therefore, we can understand that Krishna says that how we should strike a balance between our duties towards the body and duties towards the soul. So let's look at quickly the question that Arjuna asked, the doubt. So Arjuna is asking, Krishna, please explain to me the purpose of sannyas and the purpose of tyag. He is asking that question. That what is the purpose of sannyas? So a sannyasi is supposed to live a life of a renunciant. He does not engage in any activity for his sense gratification. He does only those activities which are necessary for some activity for maintaining the body. So he is asking what is the purpose of sannyas and what is the purpose of tyag. That I do an activity, I get a result of that activity, but I should give that result up. So Arjuna is asking what is the purpose of this. So before we move into the Krishna's answers, there is a very wonderful life lesson which we can draw from this. And what is that life lesson? Keep asking till you are clear and convinced. And once convinced, it's time to follow. So no question asked, no reason given. So till the time we are not clear, we can continue to ask, there is no problem. And a proper spiritual authority will continue to answer. But once we are convinced, then we must act. So Arjuna is not asking any frivolous question, simply for asking some question. So he is asking so that he is clear and then he can act with determination. So that is what we can learn from him. And so let's look at what is Krishna's answer. What is his final opinion? Like the Supreme Court, what does he say? So Krishna's final opinion is this. It's in the 6th verse. Etani api tu karmani sangam tyaktva phalani cha kartavyani ti me partha nishchitam matam uttamam. So what is Krishna saying? All these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty. O son of Pritha, this is my final opinion. So once and for all, Krishna has said that there is no point in giving up your duties. The point is that you should perform your duties, your prescribed duties, your occupational duties, duties towards your family. You should do them from a perspective that I must perform these duties. I must perform these actions, but they should be performed without any attachment or without any attachment to the expectation of result. So with that intent, these things should be performed. So why is Krishna saying this? That duties should be performed, but they should be performed with detachment. So the reason is, by doing this, our heart becomes clean, because we have been taking birth after birth after birth, and there's so much of dust in our heart, right? So, and soul is active, so it has to act. It will act nonetheless, but there is so much dust in the heart of the mirror. So when we perform our duties, but we do them without attachment, then our heart becomes clean. It purifies. Why? Because this knowledge will arise that I am not this body, I am spirit. So this knowledge will naturally arise. Like you place a small seed in the earth, and it will, in due course of time, a sprout will come out. So from within this, knowledge will arise that I am not this body, I am spirit, soul. And then Krishna further goes on to explain that why we should be detached. He gives a solid logic in the 14th verse. What does he say? Adhishthanam tatha karta karanam cha prithak vidham vividhasya prithak cheshta daivam chaivatra panchacham. So what he says? The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. These are 5 factors of action. So for example, if I lift my hand and I keep it back, so I am performing an action. Now just to lift my hand up and take my hand down, there are 5 factors which are enabling me to do that. So Krishna is revealing those 5 factors. Number 1, the body. Okay. Number 2, Krishna says the various senses. So we have knowledge gathering senses like the eyes, the ear, the nose, the tongue. So similarly, we have action senses like the hand and the legs. So these are the action senses. Third, Krishna is saying many kinds of endeavor. So we push our body, right? We are able to act. So these is scriptures explain that we can do that with the help of pranas, the different pranas in the body. They help us to move this body. So the body, the senses, and the endeavors that we make with this body. So these are 3 factors. Apart from these 3 factors are 2 more: the spirit soul and the super soul. So we see that how Krishna has made this wonderful arrangement for us in the material world, because we are not bothered about him, we are not willing to listen to him, we are not willing to accept him. So we have to be in the material world. So Krishna gives us a machine, the body, the senses, and the ability to move that body. So Krishna gives us this machine. Okay, you want to do your own thing? Okay, you take this machine and you do. So Krishna is the source of these 3 things, and that's how the soul is able to manipulate this. So all what soul does is it has a desire to enjoy different things, and because he persists in that sense of enjoyment. So Krishna keeps giving different body. Okay, you want to enjoy like this? Take the body of a dog. You want to enjoy like this? Take a body of a deva. So like this, Krishna keeps doing this. Krishna keeps serving us like that. So there is a very nice life lesson which is coming up. Blind are we if we cannot see the other factors of accomplishment of an action. So Krishna says this, that we are blind. If we just see that only we are the doers, we don't see the body, because we are not the body. We are not the body. We are not the senses. We are not the pranas. So that's how Krishna is actually very scientifically explaining this. So we are actually blind if we see that, if we take the whole credit of doing things, right? And apart from these 4 factors is the super soul. And then continuation. Krishna, this is another very interesting life lesson. We can contemplate on this. It will help us in long term. I am not even 1. I am just 1/5. So let me not become too proud of my achievements, not too depressed from my failures, right? So when we try something, we achieve, we must always remember the 4 more accomplishment factors. And if we fail, we must accept Lord's will. Okay, so thank you. Now we'll move to Sugiti for the next section.
Is there some difficulty at YouTube? So I hope I'm loud and clear. We will move into the next section. And again, so I brought you this topic in chapter 14. I brought you this topic in chapter 17. And I am again bringing back the topic, not because I want to bring it, but because Krishna is speaking. And why is Krishna speaking? Because it is very important. So we are coming back again to modes of nature. So when Krishna has spoken about those 5 performer of action, and then after that he shifts and he starts discussing about the modes of nature. So in this section spans over 21 verses, and we will see 1, effects of modes, and second is the conclusion. What is Krishna's conclusion about this modes of material nature? So now Krishna in this chapter, he is talking about 5 more things, 5 more aspects. So like yesterday we were discussing that there were almost 8 aspects we discussed which involved our lifestyle, and we were seeing that how goodness, passion and ignorance, these 3 modes impact the lifestyle choices. And broadly, if we have to say, we can actually broadly conclude that a person in mode of goodness, generally he has this supreme knowledge, he does his things or activities as a matter of duty, he takes in cognizance the scriptures. So such is a person, general, overall, all the aspects we saw that this is how a person in mode of goodness is. A person in mode of passion or rajogun, now all his activities are channelized, it gets into action basically because he wants to enjoy his senses. So that sense gratification, that intense greed, that constant demand of mind that I want to have more and I want to enjoy more and I want to enjoy more, it puts him in a constant state of anxiety as well. So this was the Rajogun. And then the third one we discussed, the Tamogun, or the mode of ignorance. So here we discussed about various people and how they were in an illusioned state of mind, how they were on completely bodily platform, and that is why whatever choices they were making were coming out of their laziness and inertia. So actually people in mode of ignorance are opposite to mode of goodness. So in this chapter, Krishna is talking about various aspects like knowledge in mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, understanding in mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, action in mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, determination and happiness in mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. So the point is that what he is trying to tell us is we are completely surrounded, captured, completely tied with these three modes in all the aspects of our life. So it depends on which mode we are taking association with, and we get completely captivated by that mode in so many parameters of our life. So the point is that though we are not able to see these modes, but then it is an invisible web and I'm completely entangled. And now when I can see it, how can I see it? We discussed in 14 and 17 and now in 18. So I'm sure now we can see it. So because now we can see, let me work to get set free. So this is the life lesson, that this is an invisible web which is tying me from all around. But then Krishna is telling how to get out of it also. So goodness, passion, ignorance spans all over. And because all the activities, all the lifestyle choices we make for one single important thing in our life. You remember we discussed in chapter 1 at the beginning itself that all what we are doing is because in a quest or search for happiness. So happiness itself is in goodness, passion, ignorance. Let's see how. So happiness in mode of goodness, it is described that it is poisonous at the beginning, ends like nectar, and it is conducive for self-realization. That type of happiness. Passion, it is nectar at first, poison at end, and arise from sense gratification. And ignorance, it is born out of illusion, arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion. So now you may feel that I have just repeated the words from Bhagavad Gita. So let's take a small example to understand what we are talking about happiness. So let's say one fine day we decide that I want to stay healthy. Okay, so probably some extra calories I want to lose and I want to be fit. Basically, I want to be fit. So then I may join some yoga class and I may visit a nutritionist and get a diet chart also. So two things I decide to do. So now when I start joining the yoga class, now my class is morning 6 o'clock. So it is not very easy to get up 5 o'clock in the morning, take shower, get ready and go for the yoga class. So initially, I may not really like it. Why? Poison at the beginning. So we are finding it difficult. We don't want to go for it. But then because we have decided we want to give it a sincere try, so we push ourselves and we start going. So people who start going for the yoga classes or for the gym or for the jog, they say that initially it is difficult. But then later on, they really start enjoying it. They derive happiness out of it. Similarly, the dietitian has given a diet chart. Now, it may be difficult in the beginning because we are so used to eat anything what comes around me and whichever I like. So if it is a piece of a cake or a brownie or a Sprite, I just keep gobbling up. But then the diet is there. So initially, I may find it difficult, but then gradually I may realize that yes, now my stomach is not so overloaded and I feel happy and healthy. So this is in mode of goodness, happiness in mode of goodness. And that happy and active state of me is actually conducive for my self-realization. Talking about passion. Now I want to stay healthy. Instead of going to a yoga class, I check on Google, crash diet, lose 30 kgs in 30 days. And I start following that. It works. It also works. And what happened is, initially when I start losing like 4-5 kgs, तो ऐसे ही चला गया, and people start appreciating me. अरे एक हफ्ते में you have lost so much. So what is it? Nectar at first. So I am feeling very happy, and I complete that 30 days ka course, the crash diet, and after that I crash. So after crash diet gets over, I crash, and then I again start eating because I have repressed myself, I have suppressed myself for so many days. So now I start eating, and as a result, I pick up some extra kgs of what I was initially, right? So poison at the end. And it arises from sense gratification. So such type of lifestyle choices, which is apparently happiness, but then it is not really happy. Same example in mode of ignorance. If a person is in mode of ignorance, he is actually not concerned. He will not even think of staying a happy life. So what are his lifestyle choices? He would like to, let's say, smoke, right? Smoke or have liquor. Now what's happening? It's a challenge. You can ask anybody who had his first cigarette and did not choke up. So, beginning itself, it is poisonous. And we know that if you continue smoking, that the lungs would go off. So, it ends also in poisonous state. So, that is happiness in mode of ignorance, which at the starting it is difficult, and also it is difficult. But we are in such illusion state of mind that we feel that cigarette is giving me happiness, that one peg is giving me happiness. Though I don't like the taste, though I cannot describe how bad the taste is, yet I am going ahead for it. That is in mode of ignorance. So this is how it is described, happiness in mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. And here comes our life lesson. In our search for happiness, let's not forget to check whether it's long lasting, beneficial and conducive for spiritual life. So we are all searching for happiness, but don't settle for the happiness which do not fulfill these three criteria. Long lasting, beneficial. Overall, it should be beneficial for me, not only that immediate instant pleasure, but it should be beneficial and conducive for my spiritual life. And how Krishna concludes this section? This conclusion is from this verse. न तद अस्ति पृथ्वीयां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्वं प्रकृतिर्जैर्मुक्तं यद एभिः स्यात् त्रिभिर्गुणैः. So Krishna is saying there is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary system which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. So nobody is free from these three material modes, not even the demigods, not even the devatas. So Krishna is telling that, but Krishna is giving us that secret formula of how we can get free of that material modes. So with this he concluded the section on material modes, and then the next section is ideal worker. So when we work in a proper consciousness, then we come to this platform of ideal worker. It has three sections. First, we will discuss the 4 social orders and duties. Second, we will discuss about the perfection through work. And third, we would see that how when a person attains perfection through work, not by giving up work, but by doing work, and then how he attains supreme. So let's quickly get into this section and see what all is there. So now what picture do we see here? There are 4 quadrants in this picture. I have purposefully chosen such a picture. So now the first one we see, the first quadrant, here we see a class of experts or intelligentsia. Now these people are sitting, this is a committee of people who are sitting and making important decisions. So that is one class. Second, we see the picture of Barack Obama. Now what is he doing? So here he is representing, we have picked up his picture as a representative of the administrative departments. Third, we have a picture of Mukesh Ambani representing business people from business class. And then fourth, we have a picture of some factory workers. So now what all this is depicting? So Srila Prabhupada writes in many of his books, and the Supreme Lord Krishna here, he tells in this 18th chapter that any society, now we are not talking about Hindu society. Any society, it can be divided into these 4 orders. The first order or a first set of people is those who are like intelligent people who work as advisors. So that is the first. They are expert in their areas and they are advisory in their job is advisory in nature. Second are the administrative class, who take like from the government, and earlier time there used to be kings and now we have the prime minister and the cabinet minister. So they are the administrative heads. Third are the people who produce the production, the businessman who produce money, the economy run by that way. So that is the third class. And fourth class are the worker class who are actually supporting all these three classes. So Krishna says that on what this classification is based. He says that this classification is based on one's own nature. So what is my nature? What is my nature? Accordingly, I choose a occupation. And on that basis of these occupation, the whole society is divided. So now he also goes a step further and he says that you do whatever is conducive to your nature. Of course, in align with the scriptures. So you do whatever is conducive to your nature and simultaneously worship me. And that way you would attain me. To give a classic example of that scenario. So we in ISKCON, we have a couple of hospitals. Like our headquarters is in Mayapur in West Bengal, and there we have a clinic. Then we have few other places, we have these hospitals. Like in Mumbai, we have a hospital. Now the question may arise that we are a spiritual institution. So what the hospital is doing? So the point is that the hospital is created as a facility for those devotees who are doctors. So we are creating a hospital to utilize their nature. So they are doctors. So they utilize their nature by working in these hospitals or clinics, and simultaneously their main focus is on doing their devotional service. So they do their chanting, they do their readings, they do their all the different aspects of devotional service, and they also serve in the hospital, right? Or we have lot of schools. So now we have so many teachers, and then the teachers, the devotee teachers, they are engaged in these schools. Then we also have people good in administration. So what these administrators do? They manage these hospital and school, like these things. Or suppose if we have people who are good in cooking. So what we do with them? Many of our temples have a restaurant, right? So the cooks are engaged there. Their activities are, again, their nature is engaged in cooking. Or the school and the hospital, they have the canteens. So the cooks are used there. And then we have people who are in the helping class, like the housekeeping staff, the support staff. So again, they also get occupation. So two things are happening simultaneously. One, everybody gets to work according to their nature. So a facility is created so that people work according to their nature. Two, the top priority for them is devotional service. So that is how a person becomes an ideal worker. When he ideally works according to his nature as per the scriptural guidance, and he utilizes these things in the service of the Lord. So this is how we complete this particular thing what Krishna is talking about. So here is a life lesson, how to get job satisfaction. So Krishna is telling here about job satisfaction. So Bhagavad Gita is answering that as well. Pick up the occupation suitable for one's own nature, which is acquired as a result of the modes one associates with. Now again a reminder, not against the principle of dharma. So whatever is conducive for dharma, accordingly we choose our job. So job satisfaction. Automatically we will get job satisfaction. And such work automatically brings us perfection. So here we have two verses. Because this chapter was pretty long, so we have not chosen the Sanskrit, we have just mentioned the translations here. So the 46th verse says, by worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. So we perform our own work and worship the Supreme Lord. Or we say it the other way around actually. First we worship the Supreme Lord, and then whatever time we have and whatever nature we have acquired, we work accordingly. And if we do such a work, then we automatically attain perfection. Also, Krishna is adding the second verse following to this one. He says it is better to engage in one's own occupation even though one performs it imperfectly. So like I am good at certain thing and somebody else is good at some other thing, but I am not able to do my job very nicely. Still, it is good that I continue doing my job rather than jumping, okay, I'll do that and this and that and this. An example for this is this course Gita Made Easy. So now there is a huge team behind this. You see just the two of us, but there are a lot of people who are working along with us. So for example, I'll explain these two verses with the help of this team. For example, now we two are the course facilitator or the presenter. So there are certain skill set which is required. One is philosophical understanding of course, and second is good communication skill, right? So these are the parameters for the one who's sitting in front of you and speaking to all of you. Then there is, let's say, a area of content designing. Okay, so in this chapter there were 78 verses. How do we present it that it is simplified and we don't miss out on the essence and we complete it in 1 hour? So how do we do that? So we need a person for content designing who can empathize with the audience, who can understand the need, interest and concern of the audience and accordingly draw the syllabus. So that is another skill set. Then we would require for this a technical team who would stream these programs. So I have absolutely no streaming idea, and our streaming person who's sitting just here, but he is super camera shy and he would get offended if I take his name also. So he has his own skill set and he's just perfect there. But if I change my position there and he comes here, so I guess the whole thing gets goofed up. So that is the point in doing one's own duties, right? So that is one aspect. Then we have a team of devotees who are working on designing these beautiful slides. So we are getting a lot of feedback that the pictures are very nice and the content is presented very nicely. So there are people working for that and they are expert in their creative skills, right? And then we have a registration team. So initially you would have gone through that registration process. So now there is a certain skill set required. So those people who are doing that, taking care of the registration, they need to be polite. They need to be patient because people ask 10,000 questions. So they need to be polite, patient, plus they need to know multiple languages because somebody is calling in Telugu, somebody is talking in Tamil, English, Hindi, right? So that is that skill set what they require. And then there are a lot of people who wanted to do something, but they have engagements, they have their offices or other commitments, taking care of the family. So they could not actively work, but they donated generously. So that is another aspect of the team. So they are also our team members because they supported the whole project. Then there is a team of devotees who constantly work on the question and answer. So many questions keep coming and we keep replying. But then there are almost 10 devotees who are just replying to those questions. So what is the qualification there? They need to be philosophically at par. Because if I'm speaking something and they answer the question, then the difficult thing goes to them. I am just doing one side job. So then again, we need a very good backup team there. So what my point is that I'm explaining these various aspects. Now, each individual has a particular nature. And when that nature matches with the work what he is doing, then there that person excels. So that is exactly what Krishna is saying, perfection through work. So first is worship the Supreme Lord, and second, do the work which chooses our nature. And we do that work in the spirit of service to the Supreme Lord. So the life lesson here is, we are all born original and unique. Don't try to become anyone's copy. Original is beautiful. So it is indeed very beautiful when we allow ourselves to be ourselves. Rather than getting fascinated by somebody else's lifestyle and trying to copy it, let's be what we are, let's be original. And the third section in this here, the third subsection is how these people would attain the Supreme. So Krishna says here, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato gyatva vishade tad anantaram. one who can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So Krishna is talking here of devotional service. He is giving that process. He is re-emphasizing, which he has dedicated like 6 chapters completely, and in other chapters also he has mentioned about bhakti yoga, and here he is giving the key. What is that key? Devotional service. So the life lesson here is bhakti yoga or devotional service. So meaning of bhakti yoga is devotional service in practice. So devotional service is the key to the astonishing place which is eternal, peaceful and blissful. So this is another life lesson. So we are all getting that key. So we have to learn how to use that key. So now those of you who were a little less attentive, I want everybody's attention here, because now we are going to announce about our new upcoming course. So you all have been asking, you all have been requesting and abiding by your request, because your order or your request is our command. So following that, here is the announcement. So on your request, coming soon, a course titled Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna is talking about Bhakti, Krishna is talking about that key. So this is our new course, Bhakti Yoga, Devotional Service and Practice. And what will happen in this course? Life lessons from the lives of great devotees. So we will pick up great devotees from Srimad Bhagavatam, because so many of you have asked for Srimad Bhagavatam. So we will pick up these great devotees either from Srimad Bhagavatam or from Ramayana, and we will try to learn from their lives. So basically it is a storytelling with lot of life lessons and some philosophy. So this course we are launching shortly. There is a WhatsApp only number given there. Please don't call, but you can take down that number 9840229226. So you can contact this number after 2 days for the details of this course. We would be providing you the details anyways if you on your Facebook and the WhatsApp group. Also, any doubt regarding the current program which you are attending, where to find the survey form, how to give donation. Thank you so much. So many of you have wonderfully donated. So anything about the donation, anything about the participation certificate, all the queries can be guided there, but only through WhatsApp. So looking forward for Bhakti Yoga course, but let's finish Bhagavad Gita. So let's go to the next section, Love of Godhead. So to you.
So thank you. So this section, Love of Godhead, is a very critical or important part of this chapter, and it is from 56th verse all the way to 66th verse. And this section includes that the most essence of all instructions of Krishna, the most important instruction of Krishna is contained in this section. So let's look at, so Krishna is providing us a ray of hope, actually a whole sun of hope, and he's talking about surrender to himself. So this is what will give us the love of our life, love of God, love of Krishna. So let's look at this very nice verse which gives us the ray of hope. That is the 57th verse. Chetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya matparaha buddhi yogam upashritya matchitta satatam bhava. Translation: in all activities just depend on me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. So here Krishna is giving more and more confidential instructions. So here we see a beautiful picture, and we can contemplate on this picture. You see that there are different people of different genders. There are women, there are men, and they're engaged in different kinds of activities. So one lady is offering arati, one is doing some service in the kitchen, one is washing pots, one is cleaning the floor, and somebody else is honoring prasadam. So what is Krishna saying? That you in all activities just depend on me. So Krishna is saying that whatever activities you are doing for your body, for maintenance of your body, for your family, the occupational duties, for the service of the Krishna, the devotional services, the devotional activity, everything depend on me. Krishna is saying that. and then we will always work under his protection. So in such devotional service, we should always be conscious of me. So this was something, when I read this verse, I was thinking that how can we be always conscious of Krishna? Because when you are attending this program now for 1 hour, it is not difficult, because we are constantly hearing about Krishna, about his instructions. So it is not difficult to not remember Krishna. It's very easy to remember Krishna. But what happens after this session gets over and the next 24 hours? Now, anyway, this is the concluding session for this program. But then I used to think, then what happens the balance 23 hours? Is there possibility of remembering Krishna? So Krishna is saying, be fully conscious of me. So how we can do that? So let's say we get up in the morning, and of course, we have to go to the washroom to clean ourselves. So when we get up in the morning, we thank Krishna. We chant Hare Krishna, we thank him. Krishna, you have given me one more day, right? You have given me one more day. And I should use this day for your service. So I get up and I go to the washroom. I clean my body, right? I clean my body. Why? Because by cleaning my body, my consciousness also will remain better, because it is part of Sattva Gun. So I clean my body. I can chant Hare Krishna before, I can chant Hare Krishna during, I can chant Hare Krishna after. So the point is, we are conscious that we are cleaning our body. Why? Because it will help me in my spiritual life. And then, say, if I am the house, or I'm the lady of the house, so of course, I have children and husband, I may have in-laws, I may have parents, and I have to organize the morning breakfast. So then I go to the kitchen, I chant Hare Krishna. So now, Lord, I'm going to provide, I have to serve my family with prasadam, and I want to do that with Krishna prasadam. So I'm going to cook this nice bhoga for you. So please be pleased with me. And then you start cooking. Just the consciousness, right? And then you cook nice items, offer it to the Lord. Tulasi, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, offer it to the Lord. And then you serve the same prasadam to all the family members. So it not only nourishes their body, it nourishes their body, it nourishes their soul. So what quality of service we are giving to our family? Similarly, if I am a family man, I have a job to do, so I get up in the morning, I know I have a long day ahead. So I chant Hare Krishna, seek his strength. Why? Because with my occupation, I am serving my family, and and I want to engage all of them in devotional life. So it will be so wonderful if the whole family becomes devotee. So Krishna, please give me guidance how to do that. So with that consciousness, he chants Hare Krishna, because easiest way to remember Krishna is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's why I am saying this. And then I know many people who have offices, and nowadays it may be a little different, but their desktop will have Krishna picture. They will have a Bhagavad Gita nearby, and whenever they have some time, they'll just read one shloka. So like that, they keep reminding themselves. Or if I'm a student, so I know that if schools have reopened and I have to attend my classes, if I perform well, if I'm chanting Hare Krishna, if I like Krishna, I like Krishna stories, and if I study well and I perform well, then people will take inspiration from me. I can inspire them to also become devotee, right? So that is also very nice inspiration. So all of us, before we start any activity, we can remember Krishna, and the easiest way to remember Krishna is chanting Hare Krishna. And then during the activity, we can chant Hare Krishna, and when we end the activity, we inform Krishna, we offer our gratitude to him, that thank you for giving me that ability to perform this nice service. So like that, we have to mold our life, right? So that we can, as much as possible, we remember Krishna, because every moment that passes us won't come back. What has gone forever. So every moment, if I can somehow remember Krishna, then my life will be perfect. So when that last minute will come, the last moment of my life will come, all these seconds, all these minutes and hours and days will count, right? At that time, I will reap the benefit of chanting Hare Krishna and remembering Krishna at all these times. So this is the ray of hope. What is Krishna saying? If you work, you depend on me, because now you have become my devotee. You depend on me. I will help you, right? Like Arjuna was fighting this war. It was very, very difficult. In that ocean, there were much bigger fighters than him. But Krishna was next to Arjuna. So he depended on Krishna. Second, we follow the principles in Bhagavad Gita. So we were going through these questions that you had answered, and we were very inspired, because most of you were saying that yes, you want to apply these principles of Bhagavad Gita in your life. So thank you very much. That's what makes it successful. The whole program is successful. And of course, when we are taking any major decisions, we need guidance from some properly well situated senior devotee, a bona fide guru. And we should perform all the acts, whether related to our beauty and body and family or devotional service, remembering Krishna. And what will be the result? Krishna will give personal protection. This is what Krishna promises in this verse. And we can very easily pass over all obstacles. And Krishna will personally take us to the supreme abode. He will hold our hand and he will take us. So that's how it will happen. That's what Krishna is saying. Excuse me. So there's a very nice life lesson. Let us be very attentive and alert to this hope-giving call from the Lord of our life. He's calling, He's waiting, He's assuring. Just let's respond. Right? So much Krishna is telling us, become my devotee and you will be free from all the problems, and you can come to the eternal spiritual abode and you can live with me. So Krishna is giving an open invitation to go to the spiritual world, to his home, and live with him eternally. The most perfect, wonderful, beautiful person we can ever know. Right? So let's respond to this calling, right? This hope-giving call. And still, there are people who don't follow, right? Who are not interested. Bhagavad Gita? No. Krishna? No. Chanting? No. So, for everything, sir, please, no, I don't have time, you know. So, what happens to them? Krishna talks about them also. What if they don't follow? So, you see that, I don't know, it's a very desperate picture. There is a person on a small piece of ice and he is in an open ocean. I don't know till when that piece of ice will sustain him. You know, then he will be drowning like that. So that would be the situation. So like we are, so all of us have experience of dream. Some dreams for few minutes. Some of us may dream for longer, half an hour, 1 hour. Similarly, and then what happens when we dream, suddenly we wake up, the dream is gone. We may remember something of the dream, and after 1 or 2 days or 10 days, we don't even remember what dream it was. Similarly, this life is also like a dream. How? That dream is for 15 minutes or 1 hour. Similarly, this dream is for 50 years, 60 years, 100 years. Right? We spend so much, we are so much occupied. Yes, I have to do this. You know, I have to do this for my career. I need to have a new house, a new property, a new car. I need to arrange all of these. And then a time will come where we'll just wash our hands off. Forced to wash our hands off. We just wash our hands off and then we'll go, right? Leaving all of this behind. So it's like a dream. Like, do we remember our previous lifetime? What all we did there? What all happened? Who all we were connected to? What all assets we had? Do we remember in the previous lifetime? No. So it is just like a dream. It came and it went off. It came and it went off. So similarly, if we don't take advantage of this human life, this life now that we have got with us, if we don't take advantage, this will also go off like a dream, and we'll just wake up in the next body. This dream will be gone forever. So there's a very nice life lesson which is coming up, and these are the I heard this statement of Srila Prabhupada. It really struck me, and I thought that I should share with all of you. I am not this dream. I am not this body. I am not this dream. I am a spiritual fact. And so I have a different business. So why we are talking about this is because all of us, as we start practicing devotional life, we will appear different. Our behavior will change. Our outlook will change. Our perspective will change. Our thoughts will change. And many times it will not match with people with whom we are living. So they will say, you've gone crazy. What's happening? Right? Like many people say, this is the time to engage in devotional service. This is the time to do bhakti. Arey, you should do bhakti after 60, after 70. After 70 cannot see. I mean, most of us can see, but seeing is difficult, hearing is difficult, walking is difficult. At least till the time we become 70, another 20 years. So old age becomes very difficult to practice. To live our life becomes difficult. How will we practice Bhakti Yoga at that time very nicely? How we can understand page after page of Bhagavad Gita? So it becomes very difficult. So now is the time. Okay. So let's look at the Charam verse or the topmost verse of Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all instructions of Krishna. Let's look at that. I'm very excited in presenting that verse, and that is the 66th verse. So all of you, yes. So all of you are seeing this verse, and I want you to repeat with me. I'll chant slowly. Sarvadharman parityajya
Sarvadharman parityajya
Mamekam sharanam vraja
Mamekam sharanam vraja
Aham tvam sarva papebhyo
Aham tvam sarva papebhyo
Mokshaishami ma shuchaha.
Mokshaishami ma shuchaha.
Translation: abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, do not fear, just surrender unto me alone, and I shall deliver you from all these sinful reactions. So let's look at the quick takes from this verse. This is that key essence of all instructions of Bhagavad Gita, of the most important verse, and let's look at what we can take away. First one, surrender to Krishna alone. Krishna says, Mam Ekam. He did not say me and. No, he said Mam Ekam, me alone. Surrender to me alone. That's why it is called pure bhakti, tuya bhakti, shuddha bhakti, pure devotional service. And then what will happen is, if we live our life this way, then we can attain transcendental peace even in this life. For what to talk about next, even in this life we can experience transcendental bliss. In the midst of greatest troubles of life, the biggest calamities of life, we can still smile because we can see smiling Krishna standing next to us, right? And what is the result? Krishna will take us to his supreme eternal abode, where everybody is so blissful always. One beautiful thing of the Krishna's own home, Golok Vrindavan, is that their happiness is always increasing. If you are happy now, next moment you will be more happy than what you are happy now, and then that happiness continues to increase. We have absolutely no experience of such a thing, right? That is what his spiritual eternal abode is all about. And of course Krishna is saying Ma Shuchaha. So if you would have visited Vardaraja Swami temple in Kanchipuram, those who have would remember. Those who haven't, you're invited. So if you visit Kanchipuram temple of Vardaraja Swami and you climb up the stairs and have the darshan of those beautiful Lord, he has a very charming smile, and if you look at his right hand like this, there is something written on his hand. So next time you go, watch out what is written there. So what is written there is Ma Shuchaha. Krishna is giving that benediction to his devotee. Do not fear. I am there for you. So let's look at a very wonderful life lesson here. Krishna always protects. So Bhakti Yoga, that's why is the best. Minimum efforts and maximum results. So thank you, Sukirti. You are moving into the next section.
So after that most sublime, hope-giving, wonderful verse which we discussed, Sarva Dharman Parityagya, actually Krishna is establishing an all-exclusive relationship. Krishna is very possessive, Krishna is possessive, and he is establishing an exclusive relationship. He is inviting all of us to join him in that exclusive relationship where he says, only me. And then if we attain that and we get this knowledge, now let's see what are the results, what would happen, what all we have studied and what is gonna come out of it. So here we have the end results which we'll be discussing. 1, who can receive this knowledge. 2, what happens to one who distributes this knowledge. 3, what happens to one who studies this knowledge. 4, what happens to one who listens with faith. And 5th, the supreme auspiciousness. So let's see who can receive this knowledge. We have been hearing in various chapters as how Krishna is telling Arjuna that hear attentively, You are my dear friend, you are non-envious, you are so close to me, you are my devotee, and that is why I am telling you all this knowledge. So here in this chapter, again Krishna, because it's a summary chapter, so he's summarizing that. So he's telling that this knowledge cannot be given to one who is not a devotee, who is actually envious, who is not a friend, or who has no control on his self. So these are 4 very important parameters to receive this knowledge. I mean, receiving others can also hear that knowledge, but for that knowledge to go to the heart and transform me from within, these 4 are the essential qualities. Be a devotee, be non-envious, be friendly, and have self-control. And next we will talk about one who distributes this knowledge, what happens to them. Ya idam paramam guhyam madbhakteshu abhidhasyati bhaktim mai param kritva mame vashyati asamshayaha. Again asamshayaha. What is it, not asamshaya? Asamshaya means no doubt or guarantee. So what Krishna is guaranteeing here? For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. So now when we started this course and we started sending the flyers, and the flyer said in big words, free, and then there were some things like you get a certificate, you get course material, and all these details were there. So we got many calls or messages asking us, is it really free? Is there some fees attached towards the end? Like, what is it about? So people were asking us that. So this course, as you have experienced, it is completely free. So what was happening during the course? Now we are giving you some secret, some insights in our life. So though we look very nice and wonderful people, but we had a selfish interest. And that selfish interest is here. Krishna is telling, for one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. So though we were not charging anything, but Krishna is telling that he would give pure devotional service to those people who explain this. And at the end, such people would come back to Krishna. So this was our motive behind conducting the whole Gita Made Easy, that Krishna would see that, okay, this is our humble attempt to glorify Krishna, to pass on his message to all of you. And you all are such sincere, devoted people. You are so willing to gather knowledge. So we just became a channel because we wanted Krishna to have become merciful on us. In fact, in the next verse, Krishna says, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there be one more dear. So easy way to become very dear to Krishna is pass on the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So what you have received, if you just keep passing on, this is the secret, you would also become super dear to Krishna, because that is Krishna's words.
And the best way to do that is, as you can see in the pictures, the best way to do it is distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, distribute Bhagavad Gita as it is, Bhagavad Gita Yatharup, Bhagavad Gita Unmayurvil, distribute Bhagavad Gita.
So when we distribute Bhagavad Gita, because when we speak, we may not be perfect, we may not have so much proper knowledge to convince the other people. So what we do is we give the book and let the book do its work. So that is how we distribute. So the life lesson here is, now that's the real secret. Inspire people to read Bhagavad Gita. While others get the most wonderful knowledge, you become dearer to the Supreme Lord.
Hare Krishna.
And then Krishna goes further and he says, one who studies. Now one who studies carefully this book, going through pages after pages and trying to understand what is he doing. Krishna says he is worshipping me with intelligence. So like when we do deity worship, we have certain paraphernalia. We use agarbatti, we have arati, we use flowers, fruits, naivedyam. So like that, when a person is studying Bhagavad Gita, it is worshipping Krishna by our intelligence. And one who listens with faith. So all of you were such wonderful audience. So listening with faith. And what is there for you? Krishna says, free from sinful reactions. So Krishna has already taken away your sinful reactions just by hearing with faith. And such people attain to the auspicious planets. So this is the benediction just by faithfully hearing Bhagavad Gita. And the last conclusive and auspiciousness giving shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So this verse is spoken by Sanjaya. So after telling all these things, what he was seeing, now Sanjaya is saying, wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystiques, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power and morality. That is my opinion. So wherever there is Krishna and Arjuna, all these things, opulence, victory, power, morality, everything resides. So here is our last and conclusive life lesson from this edition of Bhagavad Gita, Gita Made Easy. All we have to do is be in company of Krishna and Arjuna through their sacred conversation. And when we do that, then we would be happy, because we were searching for happiness, and this is how we get happiness. So let's have a quick recap of this chapter. I request you give us 5 minutes extra because we have few announcements to make after the recap. So just stay tuned. So in this chapter, we discussed that there were 5 sections. You want to give the recap?
That's okay.
So there are 5 sections. So the first section was a summary of karma and jnana yoga. So we discussed again, Arjuna asked his last question there, sannyas and tyaga and what is to be achieved by them. Krishna gives his final decision, and Krishna also tells that there are 5 factors who are responsible for action: the body, the performer, senses, endeavor and super soul. The next section was yet again modes of nature. So modes of nature, we discussed the effect of modes on knowledge, understanding, action, determination, happiness. And he concludes, Krishna concludes that section on modes by saying that for everybody these modes are active, including the demigods. The third section we discussed about the ideal worker, where first we discussed the social order and duties. Second, we were discussing about how we can attain perfection through our work, so which meant worshipping Krishna and utilizing our nature in a particular occupation and serving Krishna through that occupation also. And the third aspect we discussed, that how when we do like that, we attain the supreme, that is through the process of bhakti yoga. The fourth section spoke about love of Godhead, and it had 2 sections, a ray of hope, where we discussed those who obey, how they attain perfection, and those who disobey, they are lost. And then Krishna spoke that most significant, important verse of Bhagavad Gita, surrender to Krishna only. And when we do that, then we derive transcendental peace, supreme and eternal abode, and Krishna takes care of all our sinful reaction. Even Krishna gives that guarantee, and he says, Ma Shuchaha, he gives us that assurance, do not fear. And in the 5th section, we discussed about who can receive the knowledge. So we discussed how that person has to be non-envious, friendly, devotee and self-controlled. We discussed what happens to one who distributes this knowledge. So they get pure devotional service and they give back to Krishna into that spiritual abode. One who studies Krishna, he is actually worshipping Krishna through his intelligence. One who listens with faith, all his karmic reactions are nullified and he goes to auspicious planet after death. And the 5th part, the supreme auspiciousness, as wherever there is Krishna and wherever there is Arjuna, there would be always opulence and peace and morality and extraordinary power. So with this we have successfully completed Gita Made Easy 18 days, 18 session course. It's all because of your support and encouragement that we could do this. So now we have reached at the end of the session, and as we have already announced, the grand finale would be in ISKCON temple, live, virtual darshan and virtual. We will be there offering directly, but for all of you it would be virtual on your behalf. And for all of you it would be virtual darshan. because the temple is not yet open for public, but we request with folded hands, all of you please join in this most auspicious ceremony where we would be offering all your names to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Krishna. We are the servants of Radha Krishna and we invite you on their behalf to join on this most beautiful occasion. And so there are certain formalities about the certificates, about what all you have to attempt in order to get the certificate. You want to speak on that?
Yeah. So we will be sharing with you. So we will be sharing with you one more Google Form link. So those of you who have attended 15 sessions or more, so at least minimum 15 sessions out of 18 sessions if you have attended, we'll be sharing one Google Form to all of you over WhatsApp groups, on your Facebook, and through the website. Those who have registered on the website will be sharing these on these 3 channels. Will be sharing the a Google form in which if you have attended at least any 15 sessions out of 18 sessions, you have to mention your name, you have to mention your mail ID, and we will be sharing with you and we'll be offering you the certificate of participation in this very, very important course, Gita Made Easy. And those of you who are more enthusiastic and who are able to handle and work on those quizzes on StudyGita.com, they will be receiving course completion certificate. So you will find a link in the 18th chapter. Once you do the 18th chapter, there will be a quiz and there will also be a link there where you have to submit your required details, and we will be sharing the course completion certificate with all those who will be completing the quizzes. Now, very important, all of you, each one of you have time till Sunday 2 o'clock. Coming Sunday 2 o'clock. So today is what? Wednesday. So you've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 full days to watch the balance sessions which you have not yet viewed. And if it is possible for you, you kindly try to attempt the quizzes. And then in the meanwhile, you will have this WhatsApp, you will have this Google link on Facebook, on WhatsApp groups, and to all the registered users of StudyGita.com. Fill in your details and we will keep your certificates ready. And we'll offer them to our deities, Radha and Krishna, and they will be mailed to all of you after that. So thank you. We are all very excited and waiting for all of you to graduate in this course. That will be most delightful experience for us. So thank you very, very much. Hare
So
Krishna.
more about the Bhakti Yoga course we would be sharing shortly through our Facebook page and through the WhatsApp groups. So please, the number what is displayed here, it is only for the inquiry regarding the current course, the Gita Made Easy. For the Bhakti Yoga, we would be sharing in a couple of days' time. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna